only one last thing to go over, and it's just gonna be real short. The Jimmy Butler antics that's really been kind of going on this week. Just real quick, Butler basically said his comments were, if I was playing, Boston would be at home, New York damn sure would be at home. Josh Hart, come on, man. And he pretty much said it exactly like that. And the response from the response from Riley was, if you're not on the court playing against Boston or on the court playing against the New York Knicks, you should keep your mouth shut and silence your criticisms of those teams. It's an interesting thing to think about with the Jimmy Butler stuff that he always posts on social media, and the antics that he usually has. The trash talking on the court's always fine, and it's fun sport, obviously. They gave this dude a lot of money to be okay throughout the season. Not living up to that contract potential, but being okay throughout the season, leading them to, like, I guess, play in and getting into the 8th seed and getting into the playoffs. But what you paid him a lot of money. So with all the Jimmy Butler stuff, I mean, he's probably going to stay in Miami for quite a long time, but Jimmy does whatever Jimmy wants to do. Could we see Jimmy, like, out of Miami within the next couple of years if he just, like, isn't able to do what he wants to do?
Oh, I see Jimmy playing for the Lakers next year.
Really?
I could see it, yeah.
That's like the last thing I expected you to say out of this
You see
conversation.
what Pat Riley said, bro? Did you watch the press conference?
I did.
You know, this wasn't no, like, little sly, like, little thing that Pat Riley said. Pat Riley gave him the 1-2. You know,
yeah. Pat Riley don't say nothing. Pat Riley's quiet, bro.
2 pieces of chicken and a soda. He gave it to all of them. He said, "Shut your mouth."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's been constant, right?
I mean, Zach Lowe said that the Miami Heat are ground zero for the NBA offseason right now.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. They've been trying to get big time names over there for a little while now. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Damian Lillard stuff last year, this last offseason, they were really pushing for him. They ended up settling for Terry Rozier, who's a fantastic player in his own right.
You would say that.
I did say that. Terry's great, dude. You're fucking tripping.
Scary Terry. No, I like Terry. He's a good player. I just think it's funny. Fantastic player in his own right.
He is in his own right. You know, some rights are second tier.
Hey, who won Executive of the Year this year?
Has that been announced yet?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
I don't think that's been announced yet.
I thought it had.
But it's just it's interesting that when you have these surveys come out every single year of the anonymous NBA players being polled, and one of the guys that they want to play for is the Miami Heat head coach, right? Eric Spoelstra. They want to play for him, but it seems like they can't get a lot of big time names over in Miami. It's not like we're talking about a tiny market or anything like that. We're talking about a team with history and great players and a great coach and a winning culture and a tough winning culture at that. So I feel like they're looking for specific players, and specific players. What's that?
Brad Stevens, Executive of the Year winning.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably that Josh Richardson for Derek White thing.
Yeah. I mean, ever since he got into the front office, he's been pretty great. Thankfully, because a lot of people were getting sick of him. I with his coaching, which I didn't really see. I thought he did a fantastic job, but the change came perfectly at the time it needed to.
The Terry Rozier thing kind of like made me think about like Pat Riley, Miami. Like I think with Jimmy Butler, not to hijack this back to that, I just think that they've ran him through there for a couple of seasons now, and they're not exactly seeing the results they want. You can talk what you want about. You know what's going to be a trivia? Like, I think if you asked a bunch of people, like, hey, who was in the NBA Finals last year? I don't know if they would get it right. You know what I mean? Like, I know it hasn't quite worked out to where they want, but I really think that dude could be on the move, man.
Yeah, I can see it too. It's going to be interesting to see kind of the fallout as this kind of goes along, if there's going to be anything else to this. Man, the offseason I think is going to be a lot of fun this year, especially with obviously us covering it. It's going to be one of the more exciting off seasons to cover, just because we're able to do it together, and we haven't really done an NBA off-season one-on-one. Often we've done the NFL stuff and text all the time about all that stuff, but this year's going to be quite exciting to see how everything kind of shakes out and the predictions. And, you know, coming next week, looking at the point guards for the the NBA not playoffs, the NBA draft that's next month, and then looking at the free agents and all that stuff's gonna be super exciting. So
Well,
stay
especially
tuned
since
for all that stuff.
there's not a Wemby this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, and there's a lot of international players. So breaking down this draft, it's really just going to be kind of like a hodgepodge of who might view who. Like this really has a shot to be like the Anthony Bennett draft, where it's just like there might be that late guy that comes out of nowhere to be the number one pick. So,
Right.
and then you know what's another thing is you got to pay like the number one pick, number two pick, number three pick this year, like 13 million a year in a league that's getting crunched with salary
Their
cap and
overall salary
everything.
cap.
I'm
Yeah.
not exactly sure. There might be some late movement with these draft picks here once the draft lottery shakes out. I'm not sure if you want to pay some of these guys 10, 12, 8, 7, $9 million a year against your cap when they may not be impact players. So it'll just be interesting to see. Obviously, Topic. He's the point guard. He's the might be the number one pick. But again, international player. So
Right.
and not Luca, not the Luca type international player.
Right. Well, Drew, before we sign off, any final words with the Jimmy Butler antics being our final topic?
No, I mean, I think it's typical Jimmy Butler. I think it's typical NBA player. It is what it is. The NBA playoffs this year are full of new blood and new teams making exciting movement. And I think the old guard is kind of, shit, the Warriors didn't even make it. So I think some of these players will try to stay relevant however they can. If that's through the media, then it's through the media.